I used my savings to save my parents' house, but they signed it over to my sister as a wedding gift, even uninviting me, so I revealed the legal ownership and stopped the transfer mid-ceremony. I am 36, the oldest kid and the orthopedic surgeon everyone in my family calls when a knee pops or a shoulder clicks. I fix rotator cuffs and hip fractures for a living. I am good at it. I am the steady one, the insurance policy, the person who shows up when something breaks. Sunday dinner was roast chicken, 2 sweet wines, and a script my mom had already written. My dad poked at his plate like the peas had secrets. My sister Emma, 28. The son of our household, kept glancing at her engagement ring, letting it catch the light. Mom did not clear her throat. She did not soften anything. She laid her napkin down like a judge, setting her gavel, and said, "I know you spent $720,000 to save our house, but we are signing the house to your sister as a wedding gift." The room shifted. The AC kicked on. I heard the ice machine in the fridge. Emma smirked, leaned back, and added, "And do not come to my wedding. It is for immediate family and people who do not make everything about themselves." My fork hovered over mashed potatoes. I could feel my pulse in the handle. I smiled. It was not warm. "Dad," I said, keeping my voice even, "should I tell them or will you?" His fork dropped. It hit porcelain with a small, honest sound. Mom frowned. "Tell us what." Emma widened her eyes. "Performative innocence." "What is this, Jerry?" Another lecture. I watched my dad's jaw tighten. The muscles fluttered. He stared at the table. The silence had weight. Nothing he said finally. Too fast. "There is nothing to tell." "Okay," I said, sliding my chair back. "Then I will tell it." That was the first crack. The night did not end there. It was just where the mask started to slip. I grew up in this house, the one with the warped porch step and the abelia bushes my grandfather planted. Dad worked at the auto parts warehouse until his back gave out. Mom did everything and nothing. PDA church bake sales, and the kind of gossip that sounds like concern. Emma was the prodigy. Piano speech team, a trail of ribbons on the corkboard in the hallway. I was the kid with flashcards and calluses on my hands from scrubbing dishes at the diner after school. Medicine was not glamorous for me. Pre-med meant 2 jobs, a busted Honda with no heat, and a coffee addiction that probably shaved years off my life. In residency, I slept in call rooms that smelled like bleach and fear. My first year of attending life was mostly bones and budgets. I learned to build a life the way I set a fracture. Line up what is crooked, hold it steady, let it heal. The family dynamic never healed, it calcified. Mom's favorite line, "We raised you, you owe us." It changed shape depending on the bill, property taxes, the new roof, Emma's tuition, Emma's car insurance, the emergency plumber that turned out to be a cousin who did us a favor. Every ask came with a compliment I was supposed to swallow like medicine. "You are so successful now, Jerry. It is nothing to you." Dad did not ask. He just looked tired. When the warehouse let him go, he stopped meeting my eyes. He started calling me Doc like it was a joke that did not quite land. Emma never asked either. She demanded Venmo me for the LSAT class. It is basically investing in the family. You want a lawyer in the family, right? When she did not get into law school, the story changed. Okay, MBA better. Anyway, when she dropped out, the story changed again. Wedding planning is a full-time job. Years ago, when the recession hit and the adjustable rate mortgage my parents should never have taken spiked, the house started sinking. Mom called me in a voice thick with tears. "They will take our home. Jerry, your father, will die if he has to move." I was on trauma call. I just scrubbed out from a femur nail. I was sweaty, hungry, and stupidly hopeful. I said I will fix it. I wired the money, $720,000 over time. First to stop the foreclosure sale, then to clear the liens, then to pay off the second mortgage I did not know existed. It was not one check. It was a drip of crisis. Sheriff sale date. Hey, contractor lien. Hey, delinquent taxes. Hey, every transfer was labeled in my bank app. I took screenshots the way we take proof of alignment. My thumbs learned the rhythm of my bank's 2-factor code. At first, there were acknowledgments. Mom texted heart emojis and photos of the alias blooming. Dad sent a thumbs up. Emma posted a selfie on the porch. Home sweet home, family forever. No tag, no credit. The credit came in other ways. Shifts I did not take. Vacations I canceled. A ring I did not buy for a woman who eventually got tired of me choosing drama and left. My colleagues joked about my mystery mortgage. I joked back because the other option was to admit I was financing my family's denial. Then the ask sharpened. Emma's fiancé Zach slid into the family group chat like he had always lived there. "Hey big bro," he wrote once, "can we move the wedding to the house? It is a vibe, saves costs, since you have got it covered." Mom added, "Is not that a lovely idea? We could host the rehearsal dinner too." I typed and erased for 10 minutes and then wrote, "Let us talk after I get out of surgery." By then, I had learned to keep receipts. The deed, the note I had written to myself the night I wired the big one, the notarized agreement Dad signed 2 years ago when I told him I could not keep paying without clarity. We had sat at the kitchen table, same table as the Sunday dinner, and he had finally met my eyes. "I messed up," he said, his voice flat. "I kept taking out lines to keep your mother happy. I did not tell you because telling me would make him the villain, because asking would make me say no. I told him I would pay the mortgage if the house transferred to an LLC I controlled, and I would let them live there rent-free as long as they paid utilities and did not encumber the property again. It was not an eviction, it was oxygen." He signed. We filed. The county clerk stamped it. I have a photo of the green stamp on my phone. I did not tell Mom. He did not either. He said, "She will never forgive me if she finds out I lost the house." "You did not lose the house," I said. "I saved it for all of us." He nodded. "And we kept the secret like a bad splint, something that holds but not well. The emotional unpaid labor. Peace is harder to itemize, but I can. The midnight calls Emma needs a deposit for the venue. The 6 a.m. calls the water heater died. The way Mom would call me selfish if I paused. All that money and no wife. What are you even doing with it? Do you want us homeless?" Every no I tried to practice came out as a yes because no one else could carry it, and I could not watch them drown. The small breaking moment came 2 months before the Sunday dinner. I found out because a notary called me by accident. "Hi, this is Denise from Mobile Sign," she said. "Just confirming the deed gift tonight, transferring 114 Remington to Emma and Zach." I was in clinic 3 patients behind. I stared at the x-ray on my screen like it could answer for me. "I think you have the wrong number," I said, but I already knew she did not. I called Dad. He did not pick up. I texted him a photo of the stamped deed to the LLC with a simple line, "We need to talk." He wrote back one word. Tonight, we sat in the garage, the place he hides to smoke cigars when Mom's mad. He could not look at me. "She wants it," he said. "She said you would understand, that you would be happy for your sister." "It is not yours to give," I said. He rubbed his forehead. "You will make this ugly if you tell her. You already made it ugly by keeping her in the dark." He did not answer, so I waited. I let him decide if he would tell Mom the truth. He did not. He let her build her gift in her head like a gazebo. He let Emma pick wallpaper on Pinterest. He let Zach measure the backyard for a tent. And then Mom invited me to dinner to announce the present I was supposed to applaud. Mom's voice had that brittle brightness. "It is symbolic, Jerry. Family continuity. Your grandfather left this house to us, and now we pass it to your sister. That is how families work." Emma crossed her arms. "It is not like you need a house. You practically live at the hospital." Zach shrugged like a man on a couch. "We will take good care of it, bro." I pulled out my phone. I opened the photos, the album called House, the one with scans, records, wire confirmations. I put the phone on the table between the salt shaker and the pepper grinder. The first photo, the county record Remington Place deed recorded Grantee R Home LLC. The second, the notarized occupancy agreement. The third, the bank transfers. April 4th, $185,000. June 19th, $152,000. September 1st, $210,000. A stack of smaller ones like stitches. Mom blinked at the screen, then up at me. "What is this?" "The reality," I said. "I paid. I recorded the deed. Dad signed an occupancy agreement. The house is in an LLC. I own the LLC. You live here rent-free. You do not get to give it away." Emma laughed too loud. "That is fake. You made a fake thing." She tapped the glass with her nail like she could smudge the county seal. Dad said nothing. His silence arrived like a third person. "Dad," I said softly, "please." He inhaled. The kind of breath you take before anesthesia. "It is true." He said, eyes still on the table. "Jerry saved the house. It is his." It took a second to land. Mom's mouth opened, closed, opened. "You went behind my back." "I saved our home," I said, keeping my hands flat on the table because I could feel them shaking. "I let you stay because you are my parents. But you do not get to pretend it is yours to gift to Emma like a favor with my name erased. Emma's voice shot sharp. So you are stealing our inheritance. Wow. It was not an inheritance, I said. It was a foreclosure. It was 2 liens. It was 6 years of me choosing you over vacations, over relationships, over sleep, Zach muttered. Man, this is so dramatic. Like he was at a movie he did not like. Mom tried the old tool. Look at you, she said, tears conjured, throwing it in our faces. After everything we did, after I raised you, after you asked me for another $3,200 last week for utilities that were really a deposit for Emma's venue, my voice did not rise. No more. The house is safe. You can live here under the agreement you signed. You cannot transfer it. And if you try, I will get an injunction. I have already retained counsel. Emma stood up, chair scraping. You are not invited to my wedding. I looked at her, then at Dad. You were going to sign it anyway, were not you? He closed his eyes. I did not know how to tell her. Mom slammed her hand on the table. Get out. Gladly, I said. I will be by tomorrow with the lease addendum we talked about, Dad. Utilities in your name. No events at the house. That includes weddings. Emma laughed again, disbelief curdling into rage. You cannot stop me. Try me, I said, and left before my hands could show how much they were shaking. I slept badly. It felt like post-op when a simple case bleeds and you do not see it until recovery. I kept replaying the dinner, the sound of Dad's fork hitting plate. I kept thinking about the girl I did not marry because there was always some new family emergency in the morning. The family group chat lit up. Mom, you made your father sick. Emma, you are unhinged. Zach's parents think you are abusive. Zach lawyers, LOL. Dad sent nothing. The silence again. I drove to the house with the lease and a bag of bagels because I am ridiculous like that. Dad met me in the driveway, hands in pockets like a kid caught shoplifting. She will not sign, he said. She says it is an insult. It is a boundary, I said. Utilities, no events. If you want to keep living here, you follow the rule we set 2 years ago. He nodded, then squinted at the paper like the words kept moving. She is planning the rehearsal dinner for the backyard, he confessed. She says you cannot stop a family celebration. I cannot, I said. And I will. Mom opened the door. No solicitors, she said to me and shut it again. Dad winced. I did not leave the paper. I emailed it instead. I CC'd the attorney who had filed the deed. I turned off autopay on their cable and the catch-all family card I had stupidly let Emma use for emergencies. I kept the mortgage handled because it was mine now, but I cut the pipeline everyone assumed was infinite. The next week was quiet, except for needles. Emma posted bridal shower photos, grateful for my tribe. Mom posted a Bible verse about forgiveness with a caption that was not subtle. Some sons repay love with cruelty. Then came the rehearsal week scramble. A stranger called me from a 917 number. Hi, is this the owner of 114 Remington? The voice asked. I am from Evergreen Tents. We are just confirming lawn stakes. We will be there Friday at 9. Cancel, I said. No events. The tenants are not authorized to schedule rentals. If you need documentation, email me. I gave the address. 10 minutes later, I sent the signed occupancy agreement. ICC Dad. I did not apologize. Emma called immediately. I let it go to voicemail. She texted, You petty little man, you are ruining my wedding. Then, you owe me. You owe us. Then I swear on everything. You will regret this. I went for a run and silenced my phone. At mile 3, a resident paged me about a tibial plateau. At mile 4, the sky looked like rain. The rehearsal day came. No tints arrived. Emma posted a story of the backyard with a caption, Haters cannot stop love. They strung cafe lights instead. Fine. The lease said no events over 20 people. They had 32. I counted in the video. I did not send a notice. I am not a monster. I am a man who finally understands the difference between holding a boundary and scoring a point. Wedding day Saturday. The plan from what Emma had bragged about was church at noon photos at our childhood home. My stomach turned at the phrasing, then a downtown venue. At 11:30 a.m., I scrubbed out of a quick wrist. My phone buzzed, then buzzed again, then went static with vibration. I set it face down and checked the OP note. When I flipped it, the screen read like a slot machine. Mom, Dad. Unknown. Emma. 12 missed calls became 21, then 49, then 60 stacked like dominoes. I did not answer. I am not proud. I just did not. A text preview slid across the top. Mom. Jerry, please answer. Police are here. Another dad. It is about the house. Please. My chest went cold. I stepped into the hall and called Dad. He picked up on the first ring, breathing like he had run. She called the cops, he said, without hello on you. What she told the photographer? The house was hers. The photographer set up in the living room. The neighbors complained about the cars on the lawn again. The patrol came. They asked who owned the property. Emma said we did. Mom said we did. I finally said your LLC did. The officer asked for proof. Emma told him you were lying to ruin her day. He called dispatch. They pulled the county record, and well, now there is an officer here saying the homeowner says no photos, no event, unless the owner permits. The officer wants to talk to you. There are moments in surgery where you have 30 seconds to decide, and the decision determines everything. Plate or nail cast or cut. This felt like that. I am not coming. I said tell the officer he has my email. I will send him the occupancy agreement and a written note allowing you and Mom to live there and have up to 20 guests as agreed. No commercial shoots, no wedding parties. That was always the rule. He can enforce it if the crowd exceeds that, Jerry Dad whispered. Shame and relief tangled. I am sorry. I wrote the email. 2 PDFs attached. ICC Dad. I hit send. Then I turned my phone back over and went to see my post-ops because bones do not wait for drama. At 3:12 p.m., Emma texted me a photo of her in her gown on the curb in front of the house. Mascara running, middle finger up. You ruined this. I looked at her face, the girl who used to fall asleep on my shoulder during thunderstorms, and I felt something painful and clean. I typed, I did not ruin anything. I told the truth and enforced a boundary. You chose a lie and an audience. No reply. That night, Dad called again. They started late, he said, voice softer. They moved photos to the church. It was tense. Your mother did not talk to me for 2 hours. Zach's parents said, we are ungrateful. Emma says she never wants to see you again. A pause. The officer asked if I wanted a copy of the county record. I said, yes, I think. I needed to see it in my hands. I am sorry it was today, I said. I am sorry it had to be at all, he said. I slept like I had not in years. A week later, the abelia were still blooming. The cafe lights were still up, swinging a little in the wind. I pulled into the driveway, not to fight, not to gloat, but to drop off a manila folder labeled simply, What Living Here Means. Mom did not answer the door. Dad did. He looked older but lighter, as if putting down the suitcase of a lie can make you taller. He led me to the kitchen. No roast chicken, no stage, just coffee. He poured 2 cups and pushed one toward me. She thinks you humiliated her, he said. She says you made a scene. I did not show up, I said, and smiled without humor. That was the point, he nodded. I told her the truth. Humiliated us, not you. The folder held the same things as the email, the occupancy agreement, a simple lease for $1 a year because I am dramatic like that. A 1-page list, utilities in their name, lawn care, their responsibility. No events over 20 guests, no alterations without consent. No liens, no loans, no signatures on anything with the address unless I sign too. Consequences clear. 2 written warnings, then termination of occupancy. Not threats, boundaries. I cannot sign for her, Dad said. I am not asking you to, I said. I am asking you to sign for you. He did. The pen shook. I did not comment. When I stood to leave, Mom appeared in the doorway, arms folded. You are proud of yourself, she said. No, I said. I am done with myself, with who I become in this house. An ATM with a stethoscope, she scoffed. You will regret this when we are gone and there is no family left. I will regret not stopping sooner. I said I will regret the years I missed because I was on hold for a plumber who was not real. I do not regret telling the truth. Emma did not reach out. Zach unfriended me like we were in high school. My phone weirdly was quiet. In the silence, I noticed things. Morning light in my apartment, the taste of coffee. I did not gulp between calls. Laughter with colleagues that was not weight-bearing. I started saying no at work too. I stopped taking every open call to help out. I saw a movie on a Tuesday. I texted a woman I had met a month earlier and apologized for disappearing. We went for ramen. I took 2 weekends away to hike. My shoulders unclenched like someone finally cut the suture hidden under my skin. 2 months later, An envelope arrived in my mailbox, handwritten, "No return address." Inside was a photo. My dad on the porch holding a rake, grinning a little. The alias behind him on the back in his blocky print, "Paid the water bill on time. Fixed the step." It did not kill me. A week after that, I got a text from a number I did not have saved. It was Emma. "House looks nice," she wrote. "We are moving to an apartment closer to Zach's job. Cheaper, smaller, fine." Then, after a pause so long, I thought that was it. I was angry because I thought I was owed. I do not know how to be anything else here. I am not apologizing. Another pause yet. I did not dance. I did not sprint to the porch. I typed, "I hope you build something that is yours." She heart reacted, which is the most Emma thing possible. Moms still post verses, some pointed, some not. We are civil when we need to be. I do not fix their internet anymore. I do not wire money. When Dad tries to slip cash into my pocket for coffee, I let him. He needs to feel like a father. I need to let him. Here is what I learned. And it is not profound, but it is mine. Love without boundaries is just guilt with better lighting. Being the steady one does not mean carrying everyone. It means setting the bone straight and letting the body do its work, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts. My mom said, "We are signing the house to your sister." My sister said, "Do not come to my wedding." I said, "Dad, should I tell them, or will you?" His fork dropped, and the truth landed. The calls came, 60 of them. I did not answer. I answered to myself now. And the house is finally just a house. Not a hostage, not a trophy. A place with a lease on the fridge, a fixed porch step, a abelius that bloom whether we deserve them or not. I will not be their bank. I will not be their villain. I will not be their hero either. I will be me, and that's all.